Well, hello there. This is Jason of LA Family in France. I am in one of our favorite places, Jardin Public, in the city of Bordeaux, and our family is approaching a pretty major milestone. Drum roll, please. The milestone is 6 months in France. I'm here with Hiro. Say hi, Hiro. The wife is busy. She's in a master's program here in Bordeaux, and she's actually taking a test right now. My daughter is in the third year of what's known as middle school. Here, it would be ninth grade high school in the States, but she is in school right now, and I am actually taking a break before I go meet up with her. We like to have lunch on Friday because she is blessed to have a 2-hour lunch on Friday, more time than she's used to, so I'm going to go and meet up with her and have lunch with her and the doggie, which is nice. There have been quite a few things that have given us joy and quite a few things that have given us some pain, and I'd like to talk about all of those things. The very first thing I'd like to start with is, in fact, the pains. Get that over with. But in speaking about the pain, we also want to mention the fact that and we believe in this. We have quite a few angels who have helped us along the way. There's a little field trip of kids coming through, so you might be hearing their voices. Sorry about that, but I'm trying to do this in real time. The first thing that caused the most pain was actually moving here to France. Getting rid of all of our possessions, actually getting on the plane and moving, that was a challenge. But we did have some angels in that regard, and the angels in this situation were our extended family. Our cousin just happened to marry a French national, and his family became our extended family, and they have been nothing but amazing as far as helping us. They have helped us with paperwork. They have helped us with advice. They have helped us with just quite simply giving us comfort in time of uncertainty. And for that, we're very, very grateful. They're some of the best people in the world. And without them, definitely, we don't think that we could have done it. But those are our angels as far as helping us with the move. It is not easy actually leaving your country and moving to another country. A lot of pain. And I have to be honest in saying that we are so glad that that chapter has closed, because that is by far the biggest thing that we had to go through. The biggest challenge was actually packing up everything and getting over here. We spoke of the angels that helped us, our extended family, our cousin. Another angel as far as getting over here, right, Hiro? This little doggie. We thought it would be a challenge bringing this dog, but this dog just handled it like a pro. On the airplane, that was the thing we were worried about the most, because it was a long flight. And our friends in LA, our neighbors, actually recommended that we, give the dog some medication to calm him, and we only gave him like half the dose. The dog slept the entire time, did not fuss. Just amazing, amazing little doggy. And a fun little fact in that regard, which we should mention, this doggy, when we were in Los Angeles, he's a house dog, and we walked him, for exercise, but he primarily used the bathroom inside the house, on doggy pads. Fun fact is that when we got to France, just immediately stopped using potty pads. We have no idea what it is or what happened, but the dog is basically house trained. He will only use the bathroom outside. So that's a serious angel right there. A serious angel right there. So amazing doggy. We're so happy that we have this doggy, because this dog has really helped us in many ways, not just in the fact that he doesn't use the bathroom in the house, but he's given us emotional support that you just would not imagine. Just a great, great dog. So that's the first pain, just actually moving here which was not easy, but glad that part is over. The other, I shouldn't say pain, more of a challenge, quite honestly, is just the language. I studied French for 6 years, 2 years in middle school, 4 years in high school, and the French that we spoke in the textbooks is pretty different than the French that they actually speak in everyday life. And I'm getting to understand that. And my wife and daughter are having a really hard time with the language because, of course, people, they speak naturally, and when you speak naturally, you will, just use the words that you're used to. They're not going to speak the way that we learned in textbooks, and so that is something that I have learned to deal with. I watch a lot of television. I listen to many podcasts. There are a number of great YouTubers who offer French language advice and practice, and I have been just consuming that like crazy. So that has been helping me. It's been helping me sort of like tune my ear, because one of the things that you really need to do is just get used to hearing French. And that is the key to understanding, actually hearing French. And so listening to podcasts, listening to television, even if you don't understand, just getting your ears used to it, I think is something that's really going to be of service to you. And so another thing that I highly recommend, and this is the hard part. The hard part is actually going out there in public with your broken French and trying to speak to people. I do my best to do that, and it's not perfect, and I use my broken French, but the more I do it, the more confident I get. My wife and daughter, I love them, but they're a little bit more reluctant to take those chances. And that's understandable. Of course, if you have a language that's difficult, you will be a little bit nervous and scared to use it. Of course, that's natural. So the language has been another thing that has, I don't want to say pain, just an understandable challenge. The other thing that, and now this is not necessarily a pain, it's just, getting used to the culture. The culture is very different here. And one of the things that you should consider are some things that are different in France as opposed to America. One thing is that a very, how would you say, a more hands-on here in France. And what I mean by that is, people will touch you, not in a weird way, but I'll give you a couple of examples. I was in a hardware store, just buying some things, to fix up the house a little bit. And there was a gentleman there with his 2 kids, and he was having a conversation with the person behind him, and he saw that I had just a few things in my hand, and he just gestured for me to go in front of him. I said, thank you in French, and he put his hand on my shoulder, like as you're welcome. So that was different, sweet, but different. There was another older gentleman in my neighborhood that was walking in my direction, and he asked for something. I forgot what it was. I think he asked for directions someplace, and I did not know what he was asking, but I said very nicely in French that I don't speak a lot of French, and he said thank you and put his hand on my shoulder again. I don't know, maybe my shoulder is very appealing, I'm not sure, but another case, I was in a drugstore, and I forget what happened. It was when I was just buying something, and there was a lady who came in, and she noticed that I had pockets in my pants, and I guess she thought I was a high school student, and she wanted to sort of caution me about having open pockets on my pants, and so she actually grabbed my pants and said something in French like, be careful, don't have it open. She grabbed my pants, this lady. I mean, it was not intended as being mean. She was very nice. But those kinds of things are just examples of things that you don't experience very often in America. And so those are things you got to get used to. Also, the kissing thing. When you greet someone, you got the bisou. that is something that I wasn't quite used to. And what I mean by that, of course, you see people do it all the time on television, but we were on a train. We were going to Arcachon, which is a city close to the water. And there were these two guys, these big sort of men, right, with beards and everything. And they sat down and they kissed each other on the cheek. And my first thought was, oh man, France is so open and welcoming of people of all kinds of different persuasions, right? That wasn't the case. They're just friends who are saying hello to each other. And so that's something you have to get used to. You got to get used to people giving each other the bisou. And so that was actually very nice. And so, I mean, there are other things, little small things that might be considered pain, but very, they're insignificant. Insignificant for the most part. The move here has been amazing, and I want to transition into the joys of being here. One of the first joys is the fact that, you know, it's very safe. Very safe. I mean, I walk my dog 4 times a day, you know, in the early morning when it's dark, afternoon, early evening, and then again in the evening when it's dark, and never worried about anything bad happening. Pardon. Getting a random hello from some nice people. Pas grave. Very nice. You come down. You know. How nice, hein? Très gentil. Moi aussi. Say hello. Okay. There, thank you very much. Some nice people that said hello to Hero here. But again, we're talking about how it's safe, but beyond that, some very, very nice, welcoming people. I mean, beyond our extended family, I think you saw an example. People are just genuinely nice here. And, you know, there's rumors that you might hear about people not being nice, but in our experience here in Bordeaux, some of the sweetest and nicest people you will ever meet. And I don't know if that is specific to Bordeaux, but, you know, it makes you feel good being surrounded by people that are just genuinely nice. And in many cases, nice for no particular reason. And I've noticed in many cases, you know, that people will rally around to help each other. There was, I can give you so many examples. There was one case where a lady got on the tram. You know, she's in a wheelchair, and it's very obvious that she's having trouble using her hands, and so she needs to scan her pass. Stranger actually went into her backpack, got the pass, and scanned it for her. I mean, this was all understood. People knew what to do, and just amazing. I've seen people fall down on the street, and then 2 or 3 people will run over to help them pick up their belongings. Just amazing, amazing stuff. And so people here constantly, I don't know if it's on purpose or they make an effort, but they seek out opportunities to help their neighbor. And something I really appreciate, something that I have learned to partake in whenever I see someone who might be in need of help, you know, I do my best to help. And so how amazing is that? To be in a place where people are constantly trying to find ways to help each other. I love that. I love that. More on the joy of being here, you know, not nearly as expensive as the States. I'll be very honest in saying that the rent that we pay is 1/3 the rent we paid in Los Angeles. 1/3. And that's very important for me, who on my retirement income, I don't make that much because I retired early. And so the fact that things cost less is an extremely helpful thing. And so I really appreciate that because my retirement check basically goes a long way. And so that's wonderful. Feeling some drops here. I might have to break out the umbrella. It is still winter, and this is something you have to consider, and so I kind of want to do this in real time and not um, you know, edit it as much. But here you go. You're gonna have to hang in there with me. This is a slice of real life. But yeah, that's something that I really appreciate, the cost. And I'll just give you one example, a baguette, a fresh baguette, which we eat quite a bit here. It's €1, €1.30, between 1.10 and €1.30. So that's, you know, a really good price. And you can make a meal out of a baguette. And so that is one thing that we really appreciate. Our money goes very far here. But beyond that, in the city of Bordeaux, it's like living in a real life museum. It's just absolutely gorgeous. I'm going to spend some time as I am filming this, just putting up some video and some pictures of this breathtakingly beautiful city. I mean, you know, a lot of France. We've been to Paris, which is amazing. We've been to the city of Tours, which is sort of a quiet gem. We highly recommend that. We've been to, well, I have been to Lyon because we have extended family that live there. We have also gone to Arcachon. We've been to the city of Libourne. We have been able to, despite the fact that we're very busy, we've traveled to many different places and just absolutely gorgeous everywhere you go. And that's something that we expected, but to actually be here and see it, it really takes your breath away. A beautiful, beautiful country. And so we're very thankful for that. But, you know, and I'm not going to go into any specifics as far as this goes, but there are a lot of things happening back home in the States that we see and we hear about on TV, and every time we see and hear about it, we say, well, thank God we're in France. Thank goodness we got away from a lot of that. And again, not going into specifics because it makes certain people angry and it upsets some people, but we're glad to be away from a lot of the, let's just call it silliness that we see happening at home. Just glad to be away from that. And ultimately, the decision to come here has just been amazing. I regret to say there is one pain that I did not address, a very big pain, probably the number one pain. When we first came to France, the biggest pain for us was finding a place to live. And I'm sorry that I forgot to mention that, but maybe I'm just doing my best to forget it. But we at one point were worried that we would have to spend all of our time in hotels, Airbnbs, because it was that difficult. And it might be particular to the city of Bordeaux. Pardon me, I have to grab the doggy's leash. It was so difficult finding a place, but I told you that we believe in angels. Eleanor Moore and her team were the angels that helped us in this situation. Day one of our arrival here, she had us looking at places. She was following up on different places. She was giving us advice. Her team, they were sending out our dossier to as many people as possible, and we truly believe that we would not have had success finding a place were it not for the help of Eleanor Moore. And I believe I mentioned her and her team in the last video, but an angel, an absolute angel in every regard. When we finally got our place, I'm serious, she held our hand literally through the entire process. We went through the checklist together. She wrote down all of the things that needed to be addressed. She talked to the owner. She helped us set up our internet, our gas, our water. Truly and truly an angel. And you know, she's going to be a permanent part of our hearts forever, because she's amazing. And if you are someone looking for help or an angel, Eleanor Moore. I cannot say anything. Those two words say it all. Eleanor Moore. Just absolutely amazing. I mean, when I think about the angels that helped us, I get a little emotional. Our extended family, just, we absolutely love this beautiful dog, Eleanor Moore. And quite honestly, the people of France have been so welcoming, have been so wonderful. Very happy that we decided to come. Very happy that we decided to come. It's a great new home for us, despite what might be considered pain, despite what might be challenges. We're so glad that we decided to come. I'm going to do my best to show you around this wonderful city as I go pick up my daughter for lunch. And despite the rain, maybe I'll just show you some videos I've already made of this beautiful place. Don't want you to have to deal with all the rain. Even though, you know, I'll take it. I'll take rain in this beautiful place any day. Hope you have a great rest of your day, and thank you for hanging in there with us. I'm going to leave this video exactly as it is without any edits, without any sort of polishing, just the raw video. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you have a great day. Bye-bye now. It's raining, yes, but I might be able to catch a couple of landmarks for you. Hang on, this is the Kincons. Let's see, can I turn this around? No. I gotta stop and film it again. Hang on. Kincons Monument. Very famous. They got some, I don't know, some what, circus? I don't know. Kincons. Then you have the very famous hero leaving his mark on several different places. There's Kincons close up. So many tourists stop here. Very famous. Las Kincons. I would read that, but we got English right over here. This is pretty breathtaking, though. I can see why we have so many tourists. It's winter, and so that's why the fountains are turned off. I don't know, is this a thing? Arlette Gross? I'm not sure what that is, but Google might help me find out. I walk through here every day with my daughter on the way to school. Tourney. It's pretty cool. Got the Intercontinental Hotel, and opposite, the Grand Théâtre, which is pretty amazing. We're in pretty much the center of Bordeaux, the heart of the shopping district. I see this lady every day too. What's her name? Sandra. Yeah, it's still raining. Ding dong to you. Let's go down Rue Sainte Catherine. Very famous street for shopping. And I got some construction going on. Oh well. Gotta go a different direction. Different direction. There's a church behind every corner, and a tram too. Look at him, he's running to church. He must have sinned.